Barakata Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. Despise, not prophesyings. Pretty much get this from the book of First Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, which we're going to go into a couple of articles I have and then see where the Spirit leads us. But before I do that, what you see before you is Elder Apostle Gabar's new page, simply called Israelite. I put the description in the description box. Should I say I put the address in the description box? And as of right now, the Apostle has a strike on his main page, and he's posting on this page for the time being. So you brothers, subscribe. I see brothers already been subscribing to it, so just subscribe. As this is a backup channel to Elder Apostle Gabar. And as the name of the lesson is, Despise not prophesyings, these are the times we're living in. Spirit had Elder Apostle Tahar coin 2020 the year of prophecy. And pretty much, I know the Apostle knows, but I'm I speak as a fool, but I don't think that he realized how quickly, I speak as a fool. May the Apostle forgive me, but I don't, when the Spirit hit him to say that, I don't think he probably didn't expect prophecies to be rolling out this fast, this quickly. But like I said, I could be wrong. I'm just speaking as a fool, so may the Apostle forgive me. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth. But man, it's been a hell of a year, and we're not even halfway through the year yet, and these prophecies are just spilling over. They're boiling over, on all levels, and there's all kind of stuff in the media, on the news, on these different alternative media sites. And you don't even have to turn to alternative media sites anymore, to get some insight to what's going on. You still do for certain things, but for the most part, the prophecies are speaking loud and clear. This is there was a article a brother sent me earlier, but I couldn't pull it up because it was on Forbes and they wanted me to join. I'm not trying to join, so I got this one instead. It says, in COVID-19 stimulus, U.S. Congress eyes digital dollar to send aid to the unbanked. So pretty much this whole thing, Elder Apostle Tahar said it. He said this money that they'll be giving, the $2,000 a month to families making $75,000, and then so on and so forth. He said they would, don't be surprised. We have to find out and see what the what's the word I'm looking for? What it entails, What do you have to actually do to be able to get this? And we're seeing, as the Apostle said, that don't be surprised if they're trying to link this to that microchip. And pretty much by making something called a digital dollar, you're pretty much setting it up for finances to be worked on off the internet. Because eventually they want to just get rid of all these dollars. The dollar will be obsolete at one point or another. So they're pretty much going the way of blockchain with the Bitcoin and all that, which I never really, fancy that too much. Because like I said, if you can't hold something tangibly in your hand, you really can't count on it as riches, so to speak. And the reason why I say that is because the blockchain, although they had a good system going for a minute, there's no one that really was holding onto those coins except for probably the higher ups in it. So really, if they crash the market or if something happens to where things get wiped out, how are you going to get paid? If you don't have anything tangible in your hands. They could just do away with it, and then what? All that money you had and you invested is gone. But this is what they're doing. They're using that avenue to push the digital dollar, which is bringing in what? Ultimately is bringing in the mark of the beast. And these are prophecies. And you see here the Statue of Liberty with the mask on, and the digital dollar, which they'll have some type of substance, but really it's all trading on the web because the money is too dirty. You don't want to have people handling dollars and coins, between themselves, because that's an easy way to spread the coronavirus or any virus that is there. That's the cover story. So let's read the first precept and then we'll come and read some of this article. It says, 1 Thessalonians 5:19, quench not the spirit, despise not prophesyings, from where the title for the lesson came. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good, abstain from all appearance of evil. So pretty much despise not prophesying. Let's see what it says for despise not. Okay, the word despise, exuthenio, to make of no account, despise utterly. So don't despise prophesying. Least esteem, set at naught. So in other words, take it lightly. You see the prophecy speaking, well, we got to speak on it. If we see in these prophecies popping off, then guess what? We have to report. We have to report on it because we were set up as watchmen. We were set up as those that were supposed to warn until the Lord said that's enough and the warnings are finished, which we're coming to that point. We're coming to the point where the warnings are about to be finished. And pretty much once the warnings are finished, guess what? Then comes the judgment. Because the charges were already set up. The charges being the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High being put out there and people judged off of the things that are written in the book. We heard the defense's argument, which are these different, plantation Christians, these different Edomites and different nations coming with their bogus arguments, with their counter arguments, trying to overturn what is written in the scriptures. And now it's time to deliberate. Now it's time for the Most High to set forth and actually bring forth the judgment into place, because everything, all the proper channels, so to speak, have already been, it's already been gone through. Every avenue has been exhausted, just like when you go to seek justice. So every avenue is already exhausted. So the last thing that's left is what? To bring forth the judgment. And once the judgment comes, that's going to be the sentence upon these people, whether it's to the elect for salvation or to the 2/3 for destruction in the other nation, Esau and the other nations. So it says, despise not prophesying. Prophesyings with an S. All right. So let's get to the article. It says, amid contentious debate over the massive stimulus package in response to the coronavirus pandemic, Democrats in the United States House of Representatives look to implement the digital dollar to streamline payments to U.S. citizens outside of the traditional financial system, which I just, before, I started doing the lesson, I had just ran across Dabu7, who actually did a video on this, where he was saying how he'd been warning about this for years. And, we've been speaking about pretty much a cashless system for the ages, even before the YouTube era, that they wanted to do away with and crash the dollar. And this is why they use this perfect storm of the so-called coronavirus pandemic, whether it's real or not, or whether it's because the Lord did say that there will be plagues and pestilence that will come. It may be that it's out there, but it's not as crucial as they say it is, but they're using it, as a method to push forward their agenda. Nevertheless, what the end goal of it all is to fulfill prophecy, and the prophecy of pushing the mark of the beast, where everything that you use for trade will be traded on the internet. There will be no cash payments. There will be no under the table payments. There will be no work under the table. Everything would be out in the open on the computer, and they can track every single footprint on the web, because they will have digital footprints to everything. every purchase, every payment, so on and so forth. It says a digital dollar for direct payments to families. A draft of the legislation circulating as of March 23rd proposes the creation of digital wallet. And this is something that you're going to have to download to your phone in order to, it's like a cash app that you're going to have to download to your phone to receive these payments for U.S. citizens to be maintained by the Federal Reserve within a section entitled Direct Stimulus Payments for Families. And the Federal Reserve has nothing to do with the government. It's a separate entity. It's a privately owned organization. It says the section envisions $2,000 monthly payments to every adult earning less than $75,000 a year, at which point the payments tape off. These payments will last until the economy recovers. And to be totally honest, I don't see this economy recovering. Reason being is because the whole end goal of Esau is to destroy the economy, destroy businesses, destroy everything you see around you, and be so financially stable that they can withstand that crash. And this was the ultimate goal. I'm not sure if it was Eustace Mullins or John Todd that went into a blow by blow of that they, I believe it was John Todd, that they want to pretty much bankrupt all of these businesses, but be so financially stable that they can withstand the crash. Because ultimately it's about bringing in the mark of the beast, which is a very important part of prophecy. It is a very important part of prophecy, the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. And you've had leaders in Israel out there that have refused to touch on that have been ridiculing, mocking that have been playing around with, the idea that, no, that's not what it's talking about, making mockery of it, making mockery of us, telling the congregation not to worry about that. Can somebody tell them what the RFID chip has to do with buying or selling? The sister told me that her dog has a microchip. I said, well, sister, maybe your dog can buy you some lamb. But now you don't hear those voices, talking shit like they were. Because the mark of the beast is a very important part of prophecy. Because once that prophecy is fulfilled to its fullest, then everything else moves even faster and quicker. That's why Yahweh said, I seen Satan as lightning fall from heaven. It says, while the proposal does indicate the opinion of providing checks, it would require member banks of the Federal Reserve to maintain digital dollar wallets for all clients. The massive stimulus package and current gridlock, it says the version of the bill seems to come from the office of Speakers of the House, Nancy Pelosi, Democrat of California. Bloomberg Law puts the bill's origin date as March 22nd, which is the day after the purge. If you brothers been watching Elder Apostle Tar's video, somebody put a comment on his one of his videos, and he did something because he researched that the purge, all three purges, if I'm not mistaken, all happened on March 21st, which was, I believe, the 20th at evening, or I forget exactly what date, all the way to about 6-7 o'clock the next morning, which was the 22nd, I believe. So it started the 21st and ended the 22nd. And how convenient it is that this particular day is when this bill originated. It says the bill is massive, with all extant versions clocking in all well over 1,000 pages and aiming to distribute upwards of $1.8 trillion. On both March 22nd and 23rd, Democrats in the Senate blocked the Republican version of the bill, which did not mention digital dollars. The Democrats criticized the bill for favoring bailouts to big businesses at the expense of everyday citizens. As of close of business on March 23rd, which today being the 24th, Speaker Pelosi was expected to present a counter offer in the form of a bill laying out $2.5 trillion in stimulus funding. Cointelegraph reached out to the office of Speaker Pelosi and other representatives, but had received no response as of press time. This article will be updated should response come in. So as we're rolling along, prophecy is rolling along. As life goes on, prophecy is going on. You see everything playing out the way it's supposed to. And just like the mark of the beast is slowly but surely taking a stranglehold on the world, so is the New World Order, into where they are getting everything in place so that when they announce the total lockdown of the world, anyone that gets out of line, they can send in the martial law troops, the National Guards, the FEMA troops, to maintain order with under impunity. You know, and remember those during those movies of the Purge, you had what? Government troops going around the city starting havoc because there wasn't enough killings going on among the people. You see? So leads us to the Sun. New order. Police spotted enforcing coronavirus lockdown as they break up groups and shut down shops after Boris Johnson's address. Now notice, everything starts off how? Voluntarily. Self-quarantine. You know, now that people are not doing it, they're starting to enforce it. It's beginning with the police. And this is dated March 24th, 2020, which is the year of prophecy, which is today. You have a video there. It says, police were today spotted enforcing the UK's coronavirus lockdown as they broke up groups and shut up shops. Cops were seen patrolling the streets streets up and down the country as they began to impose Boris Johnson's string of drastic measures, which is what? Draconian measures, introduced in a desperate attempt to stop the spread of the deadly bug. It says police were seen dispersing a group in Piccadilly Gardens in Manchester City Centre. As you can see it here. 6 feet, sucker! Inside joke. It says a mounted police officer was seen telling a customer there should only be one shopper in a store at a time outside a London bakery. Can you imagine how long that would take for one customer at a time going in there? And let's say you have 100 customers. Just that. Do you know how long it would take just to get one customer in and out the store? So that's why once this total shutdown goes down, it's going to be very inconvenient to go to these stores. All right. It says, police were outside a Hackney store shutting it down after the lockdown was announced. You see? So they're enforcing this. This is in London, in the UK. So this is something that's trickling across the whole planet. Just like they're doing it there, they're going to be doing it here. It's the same scenario. The same thing going on throughout the world. Why? Because we're at the time where the beast is making their final attempt, the final ditch attempt. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, meaning the whole world, and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And they're making their moves because they want to enjoy the total control over the entire globe and over all peoples. Permanent slaves, everybody at their beck and call. They don't want anyone doing good. They want everybody focusing on them, worshiping them, doing for them. They're not satisfied with having the whole world and having all the riches and so much that they don't know what to do with it. They want total obedience. They want to be worshipped as the Most High. They want all attention on them. They want everybody to be thoughtless zombies. Just devoting all their time and attention to them. Worshiping them like you worship the Most High. 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil as a roaring lion walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And this is what they're doing. And this is why they're putting a stranglehold on the world. Whom resist? So how do you resist this? Steadfast in the faith, by faith. Knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. But the Most High, the power of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory, by Yahushua HaMashiach, after that you have suffered a while. See, because it's going to be a short time. Matter of fact, let me get this, go to this next. Salakia. Beautiful. It says, but the power of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory by Yahushua HaMashiach, after that you have suffered a while, make you perfect. That's through that purging process. Establish, strengthen, settle you. See? To him be glory and dominion forever and ever, so be true. Because in order for us to become perfect, we have to go through the afflictions. That's a part of it. This is Hebrews 10:32. But call to remembrance the former days in which after you were illuminated, meaning after we woke up to this truth, you endured a great fight of afflictions. Because it's been a fight of afflictions. And the word patience means to suffer. Endure means to be made hard. The endurance comes through going through these different things, which builds character, which builds patience. And we could all use more patience. But call to remembrance the former days in which after you were illuminated, you endured a great fight of afflictions. Revelation 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Why? Because this is the rite of passage. It says that through much tribulation, we shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, which is Esau, in whatever form they come, whether it's Esau or it's Jake or it's the other nations that are enforcing his laws, they are the devil too. We had one guy say, yeah, I am the devil because I enforced this man's laws. Well, he condemned his own self. So it says, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison that you may be tried, because this is the final road or the final path before the kingdom. Through much tribulation thou shalt enter to the kingdom of heaven. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison that you may be tried. And you shall have tribulation 10 days. But Nate's talking about you ain't going to have no tribulation period. And that Benjamin dude was cutting the shit out of Nate. But Nate was trying to slide and slither. And Nate cut himself when he brought out Matthew 24. But the older dude didn't have any other precepts to come back at him with. So Nate was running circles around him. But really, he stood on that one precept, which that precept cut Nate. And you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right. So going back, it says cops were spotted standing by a mobile phone kiosk in Hackney, northeast London, as employees packed away tables and chairs about 11:20 a.m. today. Sharing the video, an Evening Standard reporter said Met Police shutting down a mobile phone kiosk in Dalston, taking the lockdown seriously. Communication is not considered essential. So pretty much they're going around locking down, but eventually it's going to be a total lockdown. See, right now it's so-called non-essentials, but these so-called non-essentials, right, they'll be out the door, but the essential ones, they're going to be monitored, because we read on the one up here that this bakery, which is an essential business, because it serves the people to be able to eat or medical or whatever. You can only go one customer can only go one at a time. So that's going to be very inconvenient if you have 20 people outside, 100 people outside, 200 people outside. You're going to have lines around the block just like you had out there in Venezuela. That was a trial run for the world. Those people were waiting in line for days. And they didn't have the restriction of 6 feet. They were tightly one against another for miles. So imagine now 6 feet. So you imagine just 20 people 6 feet. You talking about blocks now. So they're going to make it very hard. And they're going to be rationing things, you know. And you're only going to be able to get what they have, what they give you. Shit is real. It's real, and it's getting more real. But this is what prophecy is all about. Revelation 19:9. And he saith unto me, right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he saith unto me, these are the true sayings of the Most High. And this, while we're prophesying, part of the prophecy is what? The invitation for the elect to the marriage supper. That is part of the prophecy. It says, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushai is the spirit of prophecy. And this is what we're doing. We're prophesying because the scriptures say, despise not prophesyings. Just want to look up the word testimony, which is martyria, where you get the word, the name martyr. And the name martyr really doesn't mean somebody that's put to death. The word martyr just basically means a witness. But these witnesses that were slain for the testimony that they heard. That they held. You know, so the word martyria or martyr really means testimony, you know, or witness, or testifying. The office committed to the prophets of testifying concerning future events. See? And the reason why, you know, we'll say that this person was a martyr, because this is a common thing that people speak about. You know, just like we'll say, oh, that was vulgar. But the word vulgar just simply means public. It doesn't mean something despicable or nasty. But so used to using it, you know, that we continually use it, even though we know that that's not the right definition, because it's just something that we've said so much that it's embedded in us. You know, another one is Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was really the good guy. Really, Sambo was the bad guy. And Esau did a good job in pushing out, you know, and embedding that into people's minds so much that even if you explain to them that Uncle Tom is a good guy, they're still going to say Uncle Tom. You're Uncle Tom. You know, instead of saying Sambo, because it's something that we are so used to saying all the time. Just like, okay, we have Caesar Borgia. You have Serapis Christus. The origins of that goes back to Serapis, but what do we say? Caesar Borgia, because that's something that we've been saying for so long. You know? And Caesar Borgia is another form of it. You know what I'm saying? But there's so many things, you know, that we're so used to saying that we even sometimes, like I catch myself sometimes saying Uncle Tom when it's really Sambo. It says, what one testifies testimony, an example before a judge. So a testimony, so a martyr is one that gives a testimony. All right. So it says the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. And that's, you know, and we're in the time of prophecy. 1 Corinthians 14:39. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 37. If any man think himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things that I write unto you are the commandments of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So if you are a prophet, you're going to acknowledge what the prophets are speaking, because the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. It says, "But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant." And we're at the time where I don't have time. Neither one of us have time to keep going back and forth with somebody and arguing with them. Like I had this one individual coming on the comment board talking about that they don't agree with the reincarnation thing. So I asked him a question. He said, "How can you say that King Solomon and Jesus or something, however he said it, are the same person when Solomon went off and the Lord didn't go off?" So I asked him a simple question. I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, when was Solomon beaten with the stripes of men?" And you know what he came back with? He came back with something totally different. He evaded my question, and I told him, "I'm done with you." You know, he asked me one question first. Do you have to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew? And I said no. I said, but it is better if you do. There's more power in it. And I gave him the prologue. Then he came back with the hold on one second, brothers. All right, Salakia for that. You know, I had to take that call. Salakia, let me see where we at now. Satan knows how to, just throw them darts in there to try to throw you off course. But we're still gonna roll in the spirit. Hey man, look. At the end of the day, you're gonna catch hell from some woman. Whether it's your mother, whether it's your daughter, whether it's your wife, you're gonna catch hell from some woman. You know what I'm saying? That's just the the bottom line of it all. You know, if you don't have a woman, if you have a daughter, you're going to catch hell from your daughter. If you don't have a daughter, you're going to catch hell from your mother, from your aunt. Some woman's going to give you some fucking kind of hell. Anyway, Salakia, you know, let's get back into it. 1 Corinthians 14:38. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. And this is why we're not wasting our time with these people anymore. You know, that individual that came on there talking about, you know, he don't believe in reincarnation. Well, look, I told him, look, you're not here to learn. You're here to teach. Oh, no, yes, you are. Because if you were here to teach, you'll be asking questions. You ain't going to be telling me what you believe in. You're going to just sit there and say, well, look, you know, I don't understand this. Can you explain it to me? And if you have another question on top of that, then yeah, I understand a dialogue back and forth. You know, but if you come in with your bullshit, you're not here to teach me anything. I'm here to teach you. If you're not willing to accept it, then you can move on. You could go to Nate. You could go to Bubble Eye Blackfish. You could go to General Yohana. You could go to Esau. You could go to wherever the hell you want to go. We're not here to sit down and find a middle ground to agree on. We have the truth. We believe we have the truth. If you don't believe that, then you can move on. So it says, but if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophesy and forbid not to speak with tongues, because at the end of the day, we're supposed to be prophesying. We're at the time of prophecy. We're not at the time of playing games. We're not at the time of going back and forth like we used to do years ago. Be going back and forth for hours on the comment board with these scoffers. We ain't got time for that no more. It says, let all things be done decently and in order. Romans 12:6, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith, because every prophet is given a certain amount of faith and a certain amount of prophecy. No matter how great or how small it is, use it and prophesy. Push the word out there. Or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching, because you have prophets, you have teachers, so on and so forth. Or he that exhorteth on exhortation, he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. And that's the bottom line. So the main deal is what? The greatest gift is what? Prophecy. So that's what we should be doing. 2 Peter 1:19, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that you take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts. So let's read that again. We have also a more sure word of prophecy. It says, whereunto a more sure word of prophecy, because it's sure. Whereunto you do well that you take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, because this light is shining in a dark place. And this is why brothers are on fire with this knowledge and pushing this knowledge all around the globe. Because it's the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem El Shai shining that light, and people see the light. But some people get upset with the light because they don't want to accept the light. They don't want to get right because they're programmed not to get right. St. John 3:18. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth is not condemned. But he that believeth not is condemned already. So if you don't believe in this truth, pretty much you're already condemned. Because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of the Most High. And this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. And these people are not trying to get right, man. These people are not trying to give up, fucking eating pork and eating shrimp, eating lobster. They ain't trying to give up committing adultery, being fucking homosexuals. They ain't trying to give up none of that. They want to do whatever the fuck they want to do and then say that they believe in God, and that's it. He either accepted or he can kiss my ass. That's their attitude. Like that fucking asshole that gave the Most High the finger. It says, for everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, and that's why they won't come to the light. Neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved, because they're not looking for reproof, because they're fools. Because a wise man would consider if he's going off or not. Scripture say a wise man knoweth when he slippeth, but they don't want reproof, because they're a bunch of goddamn fools. And when what we're speaking out there, the words that are coming out of our mouth is the spirit of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Rakakodash, which does not resonate with any of them out there, except for the elect. Let's go to St. John. Not 17, 15. I'm sorry, not 15, 14. 14 and 17. Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him. But ye know him, for he dwelleth with you, and shall be in you. You see? So the world can't receive this. So don't be amazed when people can't get it, or when they looking at you, you mother, it ain't for them. Move on. That's beautiful. That's right. 2 Ezra 15 and 4. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And that's the bottom line. So let's read that again. St. John 3:20. For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrought in the Most High. So let's go back to 2 Peter 1 and 19. We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that you take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation, because this word is sure. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. And the closer we get to the end, the more intense it's going to be, and the less shit that the men of the Lord are going to take. It ain't going to be no less reason to no. This is a dictatorship of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. If you don't like it, it's Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's way or the highway. Get sick of dealing with these clowns out here. Revelation 1 and 3. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. And the last precept is Revelation 22 and 7. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. And I, John, saw these things and heard them. And when I had heard them and seen them, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. Then said he unto me, see thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship the Most High. And he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. And that's it. There ain't no middle ground where we're going to come and agree on. The Most High ain't playing no more. Yahweh Shai ain't playing no more. And that's why this crunch is coming on you. Because the Most High is putting the screws to your ass. And he's going to keep turning that screw and turning that screw and turning that screw till you pop. And it's time. It's that time, man. It's time for this shit to just all fucking go down. So this whole fucking bullshit could be over with. So with that, I pray that your brothers have been edified. Until the next time I say shalom. So don't be amazed or when they looking at you, you mother, it ain't for them. Move on. That's beautiful. That's right. 2 Ezra 15:4. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And that's the bottom line. So let's read that again. That doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrought in